Hello and welcome to another fun-filled nonsense retrospective. I'm Rick, and here's Devon.
Hello, may the force be with you and all that shit.
Yeah, this is our first retrospective of This is the May, and to mark the occasion, we're closing out on the Bad Batch, which finished at the beginning of May.
Rick's also telling a little bit of a lie, because it's the second.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
It's the first on-theme one.
Yeah, the first one that's on theme, yeah. But before we get too far into that, let's go with our good old time-honored tradition of the nonsense, asinine hypotheticals. And what have you got for me today?
Well, Bad Batch is over. It's finished. It marks an end to essentially. I mean, they put a sequel hook in there, but whatever. We'll get to that. It effectively marks the end of the Clone Wars animated saga. So I've got to ask, Rick, if you were in charge of Star Wars, what type of story would you want to do in the Clone Wars style?
In the Clone Wars style. So they've kind of done Rebels, but it's slightly different.
No, Rebels counts as Clone Wars. Animated is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah, animated style. I think Ventress works best in the animated styles because there's a fluidity to what she does that can't be done very easily in live action. So if we're following Ventress in any way, I think it will have to be animated.
Well, I've got some bad news for you, Rick, because we both know how Disney works. Live action is king.
Yeah, live action is king, and if something is popular, then either they'll make it because it's popular and keep on making it, or they'll completely ignore it because nerds like it.
And also we've got the fact that Dave Filoni is currently head of creative, and anything that was his OC is bound to eventually make it into live action Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, at least we know they're not going to show up in The Acolyte because it's hundreds of years before.
I'm still worried we're going to get an actual Baby Yoda cameo.
Not. Oh, yeah. Baby actual Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Ventress is a good way to spin out. I think her story, now that it's been retroactively unended, has legs, and it'll be interesting to see something like we saw with the Bad Batch, who were very definitely on one side of a war that no longer is relevant, having to make their way in the world.
I guess, but like it's Ventress. She only does one thing.
Yeah. She survives. So yeah, that's my first thought anyway, especially from this. But how about you? What would you say for your same question, names reversed?
I mean, I'd probably take it back a little bit because they did the Tales of the Jedi. Not Tales of the Jedi, that's a different thing. I've forgotten what it's called. Fuck, you'll have to forgive me. But they did. Yeah,
I know what you mean though. The one where there's like 3 episodes of Dooku.
Yeah, I want that. I want young Dooku.
Yeah, all right, okay. Yeah, I sees that.
I want Dooku specifically while he was Qui-Gon Jinn's master.
Yeah, just going around solving problems, and Qui-Gon Jinn looking less like he's been like a beaten child, because he didn't look very happy in those episodes.
To be fair, Dooku was like 2 seconds away from choking out a motherfucker, and Qui-Gon was not prepared for that.
Yeah.
I want to see Qui-Gon a little bit further on in his apprenticeship, in that he does stand up to Dooku a bit more, and Dooku relying on Qui-Gon relying on Qui-Gon a bit as a moral crutch, as it were.
Yeah, like a voice of reason / unreason.
Yeah, usually,
like
given the dynamic, it would almost always definitely be reason. Like, I don't disagree with the fact that Dooku's quick to fucking be like, I need to choke out this motherfucker. And the annoying thing is as a viewer, you're like, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
However, he is a Jedi, so he can't be doing that.
Yeah, right now he's a Jedi. He's not left the Order to go be a Count again yet.
But yeah, that's what I'd pick for definite. So, Rick, do you have a question for me?
Yeah, mine is an incredibly simple one. It's, what did you want to be when you grew up?
We've done this.
Have we?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, no. Time to scramble.
Don't worry about it. Power Ranger, what about you?
Mine was a train driver.
All right, excellent question. Rick, what are we doing today?
Yeah. We're doing the Bad Batch Season 3. We open up with a trio of episodes that got all released at one time. Confined, showing Omega's daily life in Mount Tantis.
Yeah, I enjoyed this episode because it did a lot of setup work. It really did a good job of saying, this place fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Boy, did they do the right decision releasing all three at the same time.
Oh, yeah. This on its own would have been a real blue ball.
Yeah.
Because basically all that happens is we get to see that Omega has an amount of freedom and is able to see Crosshair. And at the end, Emery just lets her have her dolly back.
Yeah. This season is very much like, here's a Nazi scientist realizing they're a Nazi scientist. Now, to Emery's credit, she didn't quite know how bad they were. However, they were still doing experiments on all the clones.
Yeah, she knew that it was bad, but she valued her position more than any individual clone until now.
And I'll tell you this, Rick. It got really uncomfortable later on, specifically during the kid reveal, where, okay, we've always known that the Galactic Empire has been an analogue for fascism. Not even a particularly subtle one, let's be honest, but boy, does it get uncomfortable when you directly see, oh yeah, no, I forgot, they are just straight up Nazi scientists at times.
Yeah, they are. Like, that's the whole point of Nazis. They want, Hitler wanted massive individual single weapons, like the Death Star.
I mean, I don't want to make the direct comparison to Hitler, because that is too much of a, we'll call it a hole to go down to. It's just that you know, it's very Nazi ideology of like we've even seen it before now in like, why are there humans everywhere on every planet instead of the various alien species? Because the Empire is getting rid of them.
Yeah. Well, the Empire was more just a human supremacy in general. Like, other races just got downtrodden. They didn't get gotten rid of, per se. They just got super downtrodden and they just moved out because it was easier.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's an uncomfortable subject matter at the best of times, but you know, I'm never gonna. I believe that all media is art. I'm never gonna claim that Star Wars is high art by any means, but like, it is art, and it is important that art tackles such subjects. So, like, you shouldn't shy away from it just because people don't like to talk about it, because it happened.
Yeah, and doing it through what is essentially a kids show is, I think, one of the best ways to do it, because you get the kids interested in the show for the purpose of the show, and you show them something that is an allegory for something that they're going to run into in history class at some point. And when you can codify something as something that you're able to remember already, it's a lot easier to learn it. It's the reason that basically, I know it's very crude, but the reason that men are programmed to look for genitals on animals, so we can codify it as, oh, this one is a male, this one is a female.
I don't know what you're on about.
Oh, it's just that humans search for patterns.
Okay.
And in this case, it helps you learn about real world history when you run into it if you've seen it in fiction first.
Okay, that's fine, but I don't know why you jumped to animal genitals. Like, I get the point you're making after you explained it, but I don't know why the tangent towards animal genitals was a thing.
Oh, it's an instant pattern that all men do.
Not really.
Okay,
maybe you're. It's different up north, Rick, but.
Oh, like they put eye trackers on men, and yeah, they just end up always looking for genitals.
Do they?
Yes. Like, apparently we don't even know, and we just do it all the time.
I don't know about that.
It's part of threat assessment.
Oh yeah, this horse is going to fuck my wife. I better kill it.
Yeah. Make sure you know it's got the horse wiener.
I'd like to see the study pool size of this, because this feels like something where they took like a pool of 100 dudes and like 75 of them did the thing you said. That is not a big enough sample size to come to a scientific conclusion. This seems like a bullshit funny thing that people like to say because men look at dicks.
Men are more interested in dicks than women. Yeah. Episode 2 is our one with the batch themselves, which is basically just Hunter and Wrecker at this point.
Yeah, okay, let's actually address that very quick, Rick, because fuck me, this retroactively makes Tech's death even weirder, because that was just it, but it really didn't feel like it was just it, which,
yeah,
I don't know if that was great storytelling or shit storytelling.
Yeah, like, I called during the season that the Clone Hunter X that was hunting them down for most of the season would be Tech.
Yeah, and I remember you telling me that, and my exact words were, I could see that being a thing, but if that's a thing, that's dumb.
Yeah, and it turned out not to be, because he was just one of many clones that were successfully turned into a Clone Hunter X.
Yeah, so, yeah, Tech was actually dead the entire time, and has been actually dead the entire time, and it was weird, because that is kind of how death happens in reality. It's like someone's dead and they're gone, and that's it. But, because this is Star Wars specifically, like we even said it at the time, there's no way Tech Tech's fucking dead.
Yeah, if you don't see a body, then they're coming back.
But that was incorrect
and
this time.
Sometimes even if you do see a body, we saw Maul cut in half.
You didn't see his body hit the ground.
Yeah, we didn't see him splat.
But yeah, it's one of those. I remember when fucking Maul first came back and he had that sick fucking robot spider half body.
Yeah.
And then it was just like, this is dumb, so we're just going to give him regular robot legs.
Yeah. They couldn't be arsed animating it all the time. Yeah. But yeah, this is dealing with a couple of clones who are kids at different points in the accelerated growth cycle who've managed to escape and are like making their own life on this death world.
Well, they're not really making their own life. They do show off the fact that they are actively trying to get someone from off planet to get them off the planet.
Yeah, like they want to escape, and in the end they do. After Tech and not Tech, Wrecker and Hunter do manage to get some data from this carcass of a base that got glassed by the Empire. Mm-hmm. And then we're back to Tantus again.
Yeah, but this third episode's pretty important because fuck me, we get an Emperor sighting.
Yeah, we get the Emperor. We also is this the one where we get Nala Se getting arrested?
Yes, because she gives sorry, it's the end of the episode she gets arrested because she gives Omega the data pad.
Yeah, and she can't avoid a chat with Hemlock.
Yeah, because up until now we saw it during the first episode every time she took blood from Omega because Nala Se knew Omega's blood type was the correct type. So she was just discarding that one each and every time.
Yeah. And because the other scientists were taking the blood and bringing it to her, usually Emery. But yes, it was getting discarded because otherwise it would fire off the big old klaxon alarm of compatible. And this sets the scene for the first prison break.
Yeah, we learn about Crosshair's disability in this as well.
Yeah, that his hand is on vibrate. So Omega escapes with Crosshair and Batcher, who is the new team pet.
Yeah, he's the dog that got saved from execution.
Because
Hemlock
Omega
is correct, by the way.
If you domesticate an attack animal, it's no longer an attack animal; it's a domestic animal.
Well, it's a bit different than that. It's specifically like it's been domesticated from wildness, so if it goes into the wilderness, it will die.
Oh, yeah, it's going to die anyway. Yeah, just do it quick.
That's why one of the exceptions to the rule is always cats, because cats have never been fully domesticated, no matter what you think. Yeah,
totally.
They escape, and when they get to the rendezvous point and they meet up with Hunter and Wrecker, my exact thoughts at the end of the episode were, oh fuck, that's just it then.
Yeah, and this is after they gamble with an Imperial captain, and like Omega fleeces this guy for all the money that she needs, and then they still steal the ship anyway.
Oh yeah, sorry, I jumped an episode, didn't I?
But not you're right. Much, it's fine.
Yeah, that happens. This episode is entirely fluff, really, when you think about it.
Yeah. It's Crosshair's first bit of freedom since he cemented his face turn by shooting that Imperial officer.
Yeah, I'd say the face turn didn't technically come until he sent out the emergency message, but yeah, I feel you.
Yeah. I get you. But yeah, the next one is this the next one, the Sandworm one?
What episode are we on? Because I'm on episode 5 at the moment, The Return.
Episode 5, yeah. Yeah, AZ comes back. It's kind of like the Sandworm / Snow Worm.
Yeah, this is the planet where the event happened, where you said Crosshair had his face turn.
Yeah.
Crosshair's being... This episode's great because it's such a good representation of how stereotypical masculine men deal with problems, and that is, I'm not talking to you either, and it always ends in a fist fight.
Yeah.
If you if you want to come off as a manly man, settle your problems in the fucking most childish way possible. There you go.
Yeah, a punch.
No, worse than a punch, because before the punch, there's like 3 days of I'm not talking to that fucker.
Yep.
Because, that's what mature, sensible adults do.
I think Hunter is at his weakest in this season until, like, literally the final episode.
Hunter's on... Well, you see, you say that, but, like, Hunter's the one... He's living up to his namesake. He is constantly on the trail.
Oh, yeah. It's just that on his own, he basically achieves nothing.
But you can say that about any member of the Batch, Rick. That's kind of their gimmick.
Fair enough.
Their gimmick is they are the Batch. United, they're strong. Divided, they fall.
Yeah, and they've been very slowly getting divided. They get some intel from that base, and the threat is a unifying thing.
Yeah, next up is a double bill.
Yeah, we got the Ally in Need.
Hey, Ally in Need?
Yeah, we got...
how far down the list of episodes are you? I'm on Infiltration and Extraction, episode 6 and 7.
Yeah, Infiltration is all it gets in the blurb if you just click on the episode in Disney Plus is just the really small thing. The Bat reunites with an Ally in Need.
Yeah, okay. Senator Singh meets with Chuchi. They discuss the efforts to defeat the Empire. That's when we actually meet the first of the Clone X squad, which gets captured, and we learn about their I feel like we learned about this earlier, but I guess we didn't. Where they keep one captured, and it's like the reason why the second clone finds the base is because the first clone has a tracking beacon inside them, and the second clone X member kills the first one, and that's when they find Omega, and that's why the fucking base gets raided. Because they're like, by the way, I've got eyes on Omega, and fucking Hemlock's like, oh shit, all resources go.
Yeah. And the only reason they're able to keep this clone is because they knew from the first one that they've got the
cyanide
suicide pill.
Yeah, which was also a Nazi thing.
Yeah, so they remove the suicide pill from this one so they can keep him strung up.
Yeah. Although to be fair, the clones treat even the super fucked up Clone X squad people. They treat them like fellow clones still. Like he's not literally strung up; he's tied to a chair.
Yeah, it's like we can fix you, brother, and brother is like, no. We get to see Rex and Hauser, and they're both like doing their different commander things here. Hauser is very gung ho about using force when needed, whereas
he's also fucking mad at Crosshair.
Oh yeah. I think they both hate Crosshair right now.
Yeah, but Rex is incredibly civil about it.
Yeah.
Like, of course, there's hatred. Well, I say hatred, dislike between Rex and Crosshair. But Rex, as soon as Hunter vouches for Crosshair, Rex lets it go.
Yeah.
And go on, sir.
And this is the one where, Crosshair cements his virtues to the other clones, like basically saying that he gave the Empire everything, and all he got in return was betrayal.
Yeah. I forget the exact line, but that is essentially the core message. It's like, I thought you thought good soldiers follow orders, and it's like, depends who's giving the orders.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't do Crosshair's inflection very well, but you know that he talks a bit snakishly.
Yes, he does, man.
But you know, in the second part of the episode, we find, I say the second part, the episode 7, Extraction, it ends with the only reason why the Bad Batch and the rest of the clones get away is because fucking Wolf is leading the Empire reinforcements.
Yep. The assassin doesn't obey the commander, which I think is Wolf.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The only reason the Batch and the rest of the clones get away is because Wolf happens to be in charge. The Clone X soldiers make liberal use of the fact and remind everyone of the fact that I don't follow your orders, I only follow Hemlock's.
Yeah, he's on the last order from Hemlock rather than any order from Wolf.
Yep. The episode ends where everyone's like, okay, it's very clear that they're trying to take Omega and they're taking Omega alive. We need to find out why.
Yeah. And Wolf somehow manages to not have the other clones follow through with what was their orders.
Well, here's the thing, is Wolf's in command.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like, he is the commanding officer, therefore if he says let them go, everyone's like, okay. Except for the Clone X Trooper, because, he doesn't have to give a fuck.
Yeah. I still found it weird that not a single one of them disobeyed that because they were all on a previous order, but oh well, yeah.
What do you think is going to happen if that order gets disobeyed, Rick? It's just going to be a 50-50 split between the squad at best, and that's not going to end well for the disagreeing party.
Yeah, fair enough. Next one, Fennec Shand.
Is the next one Fennec Shand?
Yeah, episode 8.
Oh, right, bad territory. Yeah, cool. So Fee has to... Yeah, I remember. They need information from her, don't they?
Yeah, so this is, again, they're meeting up again since the last time they met up, being as enemies. Fennec is being incredibly pragmatic about everything she does is for money.
Yeah, I appreciate this. This is how a bounty hunter should be acting.
Yes.
That being said, though, I also really love that her opening scene is this guy trying to get her to do a job, and as soon as the Bad Batch appears, she's just like, okay, we're done talking, and the other guy's like, wait, no, we're not, and she's just like, yeah, no, come back later when you have some money, and then we'll talk.
Yeah. And yeah, this guy, she has a high price. and says basically, so you can either pay me more than I know you can afford, or you can do something for me because I know this is what you're best at, and gets them to help her out with a bounty that is rather slippery and that she does actually need a second set of eyes for.
Yeah, so I do appreciate as well that during this little excursion, she reveals to Hunter and Wrecker that, hey, by the way, the only reason you got your girlie back is because my employer was actually just telling me to not hand her over to the Empire.
Yeah, because that was wasn't her employer actually one of the Kaminoans? Yeah, Nalase, yeah.
Like the reason
I was going to say Torn Wee, but yeah, Torn Wee died really early on.
Yeah, the reason why she didn't fight the Bad Batch is because she said to Nalase, "Oh, those clones got her," and they were like, "Oh, she's safe then, fine. Your contract is fulfilled."
Yeah. Because I think she even says, "Yeah, you're not as exclusive as you think on that world," and that turns out to be true because like multiple people come there. But yeah, they go to the bayou and they hunt the frogman. He's very good at keeping his little bit of the river trapped.
Wasn't he a bugman?
Oh yeah, he's a bugman. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, he's a bugman, not a frogman.
Yeah, they do this thing where they're like, what is it? They encounter a minefield in the swamp, and they're like, we should go around. And Fennec just goes, no, he'll be expecting people to go around. And it's like you could see Hunter and Wrecker both go, this bitch.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, yeah, that is kind of true, that all of his turrets will be trained around the very obvious detour away from exploding on mines. So she is correct. However, it's a lot of work to disarm all of the mines just for a 5-second head start.
And because it's a fucking TV show, they take just enough time to undo the mines for a mild threat to appear.
Yep. Mild peril. But they succeeded in the end, and they get the
they don't actually get anything.
They get the thing of you'll have to trust me, and then we get the next episode, which is the Harbinger.
I mean, it's also a little bit better than that as well, because the will you have to trust me bit was really well played, because Hunter and Wrecker immediately goes, oh no, we're not playing that game, and Shan's just like, look, we can have a fucking stupid shootout fight if you really want, but like that's not actually going to get you anything, is it?
Yeah, and if they do shoot her, then she's just not going to send her info.
But yeah, you're right. This was really fun. This was because it was guest character meet guest character. It was literally just fucking ping ponging from one to the other.
Yeah. We got Ventress. She's got hair now, so
okay.
she's had her kind of face turn.
I will just say she didn't get hair just because she's a good guy now. Fuck off. I was really surprised that this was the only exposure we had to Ventress, considering that she showed up in the goddamn trailer for the season.
Yeah. I was expecting to see her, kick ass and take names, but nah, she's just here as a meditation mentor.
Yeah, so she tests Omega for a little bit. I'm really glad that Omega wasn't force sensitive, because boy am I sick and tired of main characters having to be fucking force sensitive.
Yeah, like I think the implication is that she kind of is, but Ventress is in on the deception, because like she knows that if she is sensitive and wants to train, that's going to take her away from the guys, and the guys are not going to allow that, especially with it being Ventress.
I think you're putting too much stock into the fact that Ventress gives a fuck.
I think it's kind of conflict avoidance, because she doesn't want to fight them to the death in front of Omega.
Yeah, but she did though.
Only because they started the fight.
Oh, that's okay then.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck off.
Like actually though, like this shows her character growth, because if it wasn't for the fact that she'd had a face turn, she would have started that fight long ago.
Okay, sure, man. I'm just saying, I feel like this whole fucking episode was a waste of fucking time.
A little bit, yeah.
We got to see Ventress do some cool Ventress things. I'm never gonna knock that. It just seemed like Filoni saw what happened in the comic books and was like, Ventress ain't gonna die like that. So she's still alive, really.
Yeah.
It was just such a waste of time. It's one of those things where, Ventress lied about the M count being low, but having a high M count doesn't necessarily mean you can suddenly wield the Force. And, it's one of those weird things where, I think I even told you this at the time, where Filoni fucking loves doing this with his characters, in that if they're even slightly Force sensitive, they immediately have some kind of weird bond with animals, and Omega's had that since Series 1.
Yeah.
Looking at you, fucking Ahsoka. God, I fucking hated that episode. Fuck, I'm sorry. It was 10 minutes of wank.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, I think the idea is that she might be sensitive, but like that's beside the point. All that really matters is that she's extremely compatible, and yeah, that's why Hemlock wants her. And we're not told that M is midichlorian, but yeah, it's midichlorians.
Okay, to be fair, if you need to be told that, maybe you shouldn't be watching Star Wars shows.
Yeah. Oh yeah, apparently Ventress does actually use midichlorian. She says it once.
As you say so, man. It's been fucking a while since I watched that episode.
Yeah. But yeah, she goes away at the end.
Yeah. Like, this is also a bit of foreshadowing, actually, because they use the same cave that the fucking that the Clone X Trooper uses later.
Yeah. This. I mean, I think isn't it also Fee's cave? That's where she puts her ship as well.
It could be.
Yeah, but yeah, she does say you're not as secluded as you think while you're here. And yeah, Clone X use the same cave because yeah, they're not as good as they hope at covering their tracks. Next one is Identity Crisis. This is where Emery starts to have doubts about whether or not she's doing the correct thing, because this is when she finds out that these are actually children.
Yeah, so this is the episode I'm talking about that made me actually uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because of course it did. I feel like if you don't feel at least a bit uncomfortable watching this, you probably should reevaluate some things about yourself.
Yeah, Cad Bane
steals a baby!
Yeah, Cad Bane stuns a new mother and steals the baby and delivers it to not even to Tantis, it's to an intermediary.
Yeah, because like, okay, I'll give Hemlock a bit of credit as far as Imperial officers go. He fucking knows the drill when it means secret fucking base.
Yes.
He keeps that shit on lock, and like one of the few types of people you definitely, even if they're working for you, you don't want to know where it is a fucking bounty hunter.
Yeah, because anyone whose loyalty has a price, well, the loyalty has a price. Like, it can be bought and sold.
I mean, Rick, apart from Hemlock himself and the Clone X Troopers, I believe no one actually knows the coordinates. You have to go to a specific base and be cleared and then autopiloted to Tantis. That's why it takes the batch so much time to fucking get there.
Yeah. Like, even the Emperor gets flown there by his staff.
Okay, I'm pretty sure the Emperor knows where Tantis is.
Yeah.
But yeah, here's the thing. There's a part of this episode that I really liked because it was just so cold of Cad Bane. But by the way, I'm a fucking Cad Bane mark. I love it when that prick shows up.
Yeah.
But when they're receiving the child and they're doing the tests, I can't remember the exact thing Emery says, but Emery says something to make it seem as if she doesn't care while asking a innocent-esque question. And Cad Bane just goes, that tells me more about you than you think.
Yeah. And I think one of the illusions is that Sid is the one who gave away Fee's name to Clone X2.
I mean, it makes perfect sense, really, because, that's where they got the information on the batch in the first place. So why would they not immediately go to Sid? Hey, guess what? I don't give a fuck if Sid fucking burns in the 9 hells.
Yeah, despite looking sad when she was being led away after being paid a fuck ton of money.
I mean, I didn't give a fuck about then, either. I was like, no, fuck you, bitch. I hope you die. I hope it happens on screen.
And in the next episode, Pabu gets invaded by the Emperor. The Empire, even.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm fucking getting lost in my own list of fucking episode titles. Yeah, so CX2. This was after you told me about your theory about tech, and I was like, oh, they know the layout of Fee's ship really well. Maybe Rick has a point. Boy, I hope that's not the truth. It wasn't, but
Yeah, he was just very good at just improvising on the moment.
Yeah, but yeah, he invades Pabu. There's no wolf to save them this time. But yeah, I felt really bad at the end of this episode because Crosshair was just like, Omega trusted Crosshair, and Crosshair even told her, that's a bad plan, I can't make 100% of my shots anymore. And when he missed that fucking shot, I was like, oh, fuck, Crosshair, this is going to so fuck with him in the head. Yep.
Wrecker also gets knocked out at the beginning of the fight.
Oh, so Wrecker gets fucking hurt.
Yeah, so there's no chance for any funny moments with Wrecker.
Yeah, there's no good way of... But this episode is a fucking downer, and it's all uphill from after this one, really.
Yeah, Pabu gets subjugated, and the Marauder gets destroyed.
Yeah, the Marauder needed to go.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we need a new fucking ship to sell Lego of.
Well, they did it in Mando as well. They just got rid of the ship so they could sell the Nubian N1 again.
Oh, look, Rick, this one's silver.
Yeah. That's why you need to buy a new model and not just use the yellow one.
Oh. Yeah, we're a bit cynical, guys. We were brought up in a generation of He-Man, Transformers, and Power Rangers, where the reason why characters got killed off is so a new character could be introduced, so we could sell a new toy to you.
Yeah, like there's a reason why we say when we're watching things, look at this toy.
I mean, the most egregious one in recent memory was that My Little Pony Christmas special, where you were like, look at this toy, and I was like, oh, fuck, it is a toy. Immediately went online, yep, this episode is made just to sell this new toy.
Yeah. Yeah,
there's not much to say about this episode, really. Pabu gets fucked. Omega hands herself over to prevent Pabu from just getting wiped off the map. And, the batch is sad, and rightly so.
Yeah, and now we have Juggernaut seeking out an old enemy for answers.
Yeah, this episode's an episode. The prison side stuff is pretty interesting. I thought Rampart was dead before this episode happened.
Yeah, I thought he'd been executed. But yes, he's in a concentration camp. They break him out, and there's not even a shred of gratitude. However, he is being trapped like a piece of meat.
That being said, Rick, it's technically not a concentration camp. It is a labour camp. There is a
it's a
distinction.
labour camp, yeah. Yeah, it's a labour camp. My bad, yeah.
Yeah. We have a really cool fucking chase scene in this. I say chase scene. Escape scene. I know you don't like them, Rick, but that's what it was. As soon as they take over the truck, someone at the tower was like, this isn't right, and immediately went on full alert, and I'm just thinking, fuck me, whenever Hemlock is involved even tangentially, all of the Imperial officers are surprisingly competent.
Yeah, they're like set competency to maximum.
Yeah.
That's when they do the they play chicken with the two transports, don't they? Pretty much.
I can't remember that bit. I remember there being a dash to get through the gate before it fully shut.
Yeah.
And then they end with Fee, I believe, coming to the rescue, and they have to jump from the ship onto Fee's ship, which I thought Wrecker was going to go.
Yeah. This would have been the time, really. Like a nothing mission, which is like they've set the stage for things like that to happen on what could be otherwise a nothing mission.
Yeah. Here's the problem, Rick, is this is sort of setting the trend for the final sprint of episodes of Wrecker being in peril. That by the fifth time it happened, I was like, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. I've stopped caring.
Yeah. Because Wrecker is like D. Bradley Baker's favourite one.
Is he?
Yeah, of the batch.
I think he's a lot of people's favourite.
Yeah, I think he's meant to be. Because he has two specialties. He's strong and he's the demolitions guy.
I think being strong automatically gives you the demolition role because you got to carry a bunch of grenades.
Yeah. The next one is with Rampart trying to infiltrate enemy territory. Rampart gets his... I like his thing of, I can't wear this. This is a captain's uniform.
It was a good gag. I actually chuckled.
I'm a vice admiral. And then Hunter just goes, you've been demoted.
Like, out of all three of the batch, Crosshair is the only one who fully treats Rampart with the disgust that he deserves.
Yeah.
That being said,
because he was more privy to it up close and personal.
Yeah, I was going to say, Crosshair pretty much directly reported to him for a good chunk of his Imperial career.
Yeah, and he still gives Crosshair his full
number,
CT9904 every time.
Yeah, it's fucking...
Even though
gross.
It takes longer to say than Crosshair.
It's dehumanizing, and that's entirely the point.
Yes.
It's the reason why the clone... By the way, every clone that has a name gave themselves the name, or one of the other clones did. Jedi didn't give a fuck.
They didn't give them names, but they respected the names, usually.
But if they didn't give them a name, they would just happily call them a number.
Yeah. Or not even anything, just
clone.
You, there. Go do this. Capture the point, report.
Like, there were a few notable examples, like, it's a meme now, but there is the one in the Clone Wars where Plo Koon's flying one of the fighter pilots, piloting a fighter ship, and the troops go, "Sir, we're expendable," and Plo Koon just goes, "Not to me." Which, is a rare... I think it's really easy to gloss over the fact that clones, despite being organic and human and having a soul, were still treated as expendable as droids.
Yeah, like, because they were built, essentially. They're treated as expendable because there's millions of them.
Exactly. It's kind of fucked up.
Like, even droids, they have... Like, the digital soul is still a digital soul, but, like...
It never comes up, Rick. In Star Wars, droids aren't people.
It only matters for C-3PO and R2-D2, pretty pretty much.
Yeah, like well, okay. Droids can have personality, I'm sure, and like some of them, like you get really attached to. But I'm talking about your bog standard battle droids, and yeah, they give some of them some goofy personalities in the Clone Wars show, just because it'd be really boring otherwise.
Yeah, just so they can Roger, you know.
Yeah, like, I think my favorite one is when like Grievous fucks off from a fucking ship and takes most of the elite droids with him, and it just cuts to a battle droid sitting on the command seat going, "Well, I guess I'm in charge now." It's so fucking dumb. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, as well as the sneaky stealth stuff with Rampart, they also show us Omega interacting with the other kids. And up until now, the kids have been really pacified. The only kid who's made an attempt got severely hurt because of it and put in timeout. And the others are like, I don't want to do that. And then Omega comes here like, being a little rabble-rouser.
Yeah, she's like, you want to know a secret? I broke out of here once. Want to know another secret? I'm going to do it again. I'm going to bring you all with me.
Omega's a little terror.
Yeah, it's great.
But here's the thing, the moment she got popped in that room, I was immediately like, okay, like, this is not enough to, like, they show all these security steps, and I'm like, weirdly, this is not enough to keep Omega contained.
No. And so from this, the finale of this is that they do manage to attach to the other ship that as it jumps into hyperspace.
All the while, Rampart is being a little bitch about it.
Rampart's being a little bitch about it. Echo is on board the ship.
Yeah, Echo's the fucking MVP during this little fucking improv they have to do.
Oh yeah, totally. And he gets a hand.
That's not till next episode.
Oh yeah. But yeah, he nicks a hand off one of the droids in the next episode, so he's actually got a hand, so he can walk around with it.
Yeah, because he needs to disguise himself as a clone trooper.
Yeah,
Stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Let's just cut to the next episode, because that's basically the end. Yeah, like, we're already talking about it. Episode 14, the penultimate episode, Flash Strike. Can I just say, by the way, it really fucks me off that all the seasons, the two previous seasons had 16 episodes, and this one has 15, because the last one's the length of 2 episodes anyway.
Yeah, like, they just chose to make it a double-length episode rather than make it into a 2-parter. Like, we knew that they were putting out an hour's worth of stuff on the last day. It's just that they didn't do it as 2 separate episodes. But oh well.
It would ruin the flow, I get it, but still, it's just like, I haven't got OCD. I haven't even remotely got anything that severe. However, it does make me go, oh, you couldn't have just, you know... Anyway, this episode starts fucking hot, really, because Omega's properly fucking she's like tearing tiles off walls and fucking doing scout missions.
Yeah, she's like going up the down chute that's meant to just be for like sending samples and stuff.
That's not even what it's for. I don't know what it does. It seems to be like a power core type thing, because the samples all go with the droid.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's a little, like, all of the kids are able to fit in there, even with the baby on one of their backs, which the number of times when it looked like they were going to clonk the baby, it's at least twice.
I mean, they probably did off screen, but it's fine.
Yeah, and it was funny every time. Omega's done a bit of scouting. She's found the Zillo Beast.
Yeah, I didn't think this thing would ever show up again.
No. I thought it was just there to show that that Hemlock wasn't fucking around when he wanted something. Like, he could just take it because his guys were just that efficient.
There is that, yeah, but I believe the implication is that, in fact, I don't think it's even an implication, because the power goes to shit when the Zillo Beast escapes. I think the Zillo Beast is literally powering the station.
Yeah, maybe so.
But yeah, I can't remember if it's this episode or next episode, but there's a bit of rumbling when the batch arrives, because that tends to be how the batch be, and we just get this really great shot of the camera zooming in on Omega when the kids go, "What's that?" And she just goes, "My brothers are here," and it's like, yeah, they are.
Yeah. The Hunter and Wrecker and Rampart have to spend a bit of time in the forest, and Rampart is the load, as always.
Yeah, Rampart actually gets captured about, halfway through the episode, or is it near the end?
I think it's near the end.
Yeah, because next episode we get Hemlock just telling Rampart off, because Rampart thinks he is cleverer than he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we already know that because, he fucked up earlier in the season. In the show.
Well, it's not that much of a shame. It's not that much of a mark of shame to get outmaneuvered by Palpatine, because, like, before you entered the game, Palpatine knew how you were going to end.
I mean, kind of. It's one of those really annoying things where, like, I don't even think Rampart did anything. here's the problem: is Rampart made a play, but Rampart made a play against the Empire when he didn't realize he was up against the Emperor, which is already fucking a mistake. Like, he didn't know the Emperor was working against him, which, you know, is always a flaw, stacked deck, as you were.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't know. Either way, Rampart's never been particularly clever. He's not even been cunning, you know? He's been given tools, and I think Vice Admiral is probably a bit of luck he managed to make it that far in the Imperial ranks.
Yeah. This is where we get Emery essentially cementing her face turn, because she recognizes Echo.
Yeah.
And just basically stands there with him, letting him hack as much data as he needs.
Yeah. In fact, when Hemlock comes in, it's like Hemlock does the thing to Emery that cements Emery making the face turn, which is, your fate is now tied to Omega's fate. And it's like, cool, I guess Omega's escaping then.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, if Emery had any doubts on what side to fall, the moment it's like, if you don't find Omega, you're fucking dead, is a pretty good motivator to switch sides. But she was already pretty... Like, as soon as she saw the kids, her resolve was wavering. But, you know, the fact it took this much of an extreme to give her a push, she's got a lot of making up to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Not to Omega, but to everyone else, yes.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I think she still dicked Omega over a little bit.
Yeah, a bit. Meanwhile, Dr. Scolder is just there to be the hate sink.
For real. When she fucking goes in after the droid gets done, and the droid just stabs her in the neck, I literally just went, take that, you fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Like, the moment she goes into the room, and the distraction kid is just like, just being sad, and just being like, I'm sad, and the fucking hate doctor's just like, oh, really, Emery's been treating you all with too soft a hand. It's like, bitch, I know you think they're experiments, but they're still kids.
Yeah. That's exactly it, though, isn't it? Like, you can just basically just see her just like make a disgusted snort.
Well, because that's just it, though. It's like every scientist, apart from Emery, only sees the kids as this is an experiment, not as kids, which is a problem to look at other living beings.
Yeah, and part of that is that Hemlock has like straight up told them to behave that way, and it seems like Scolder is just taking that to heart.
If you
only doing it for the science.
If you're doing this sort of thing, you would have to just completely dissociate. This happens with abattoir workers, by the way. Like, if you can't disassociate what you're doing, you can't work there for long because it will get on top of you. Like, that's why when you see you'll see sometimes in documentaries and stuff, abattoir workers laughing and doing things that you'd probably be like, oh, that's a bit disrespectful. But it's like, if you don't laugh, you cry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't get me wrong. Of course, there are also complete fucking psychopaths who go into that field of work who just don't give a fuck, and it's all dandy for them. But, you know, it's one of those where if you can't cope, you can't cope. All that to say, man, fuck Nazis.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we have the finale.
Yeah, so this starts pretty strong with the Zillo Beast getting free.
Yeah, Echo has the thing of, that must be Omega.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because what I would have done.
So let's head towards the screams. Why? I just have a feeling Omega's the source of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, we get a great little scene as well, which shows that not everyone knows. I mean, we already knew this, but it just cements it, where not everyone knows everything that's going on in the base. Because one of the stormtroopers sees the kids behind the grate, and for a second he just looks at them until someone barks at him to say, what's going on, what did you find? It's like, there's a bunch of fucking kids here. And it's we'll get them out of there. Why are there kids here? What is going on? And then that's when the Zillo Beast gets free and everything goes to shit.
The batch gets captured.
It takes a moment for them to get captured, though, because it's not until they get against the Clone Trooper X squad, right?
Yeah, all of the Clone Trooper X's. And this is when I finally gave up hope that one of them was Tech.
You gave up hope like 20 minutes from the end of the finale. Good for you, Rick.
Yeah.
This is a pretty grim one when everyone gets captured, because Wrecker's already fucked from trying to ride that beast from last episode.
Yeah, and Crosshair gets his bad hand cut off.
Well, technically it's his good hand, though, because the guy who cuts it off even says, oh, you should be careful about your shooting hand, and it's just like, jeez.
Yeah, it's his shooting hand, it gets cut off. It's the one that has been on vibrate, but yeah, he's now very much a handicapped badass.
I mean, I'll put it this way, Rick, if I had to suddenly switch hands when I was shooting a bow and arrow and use my left to pull back the bowstring. I wouldn't trust myself with the bow.
Yeah. It's grim. It's grim.
Yeah, it is.
Like,
it is.
I think the only one that would have made it out okay is actually Tech, because he's shown to be a dual wielder at all times.
Yeah, but
pistols.
We do sort of learn that that Crosshair is ambidextrous to a little bit, to a slight degree.
Yeah, because he does it at the end. He gets the shots off at the end that matter.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But yeah, we get Echo and Omega reuniting first. I like it because it's a fun little scene. However, I am also thinking, Echo, why would you wait that long?
Yeah.
But yeah, Echo gets a hug with Omega. Emery loads the ship up with the other kids and gets them out of there, so they're written out, they're fine. And we get the rallying of the troops. They finally free the clone troopers. The clone troopers are all like, we didn't think anyone was coming, and Echo's like, we've been searching for this base for so long. Like, I promise you, we were looking for you the entire time you were in here.
Yeah.
And despite being on the cusp of freedom, he's like, do we have any volunteers to help us get back a few more clones? And I know it's a TV show, but my heart like swelled when like there was a dozen people like, yeah, fuck it, let's do this. No clone left behind. We get Lana Say also saying, I can't let this research still be in the hands of the Empire, so she fucks off on her own. Except it's not on her own, because Rampart sees this and follows her.
Yeah, Rampart ends up hoisted by his own petard. He pulls a gun on a scientist who's ready to give her life to make sure this is not going into the wrong hands, and she ensures it. So he shoots her, and she drops the thermal detonator that she's already primed, and he's like, oh shit, and they explode.
Yeah, so the data's completely gone. I will say this, there was a brief flicker of me thinking, when Rampart followed her, my initial thought was, okay, there's a 50-50 shot that this is a proper face turn. As soon as he picked up the gun, I'm like, okay, he's going to do something stupid.
Yep.
And yeah, Lana Say actually has a pretty epic downfall in that she looks Rampart in the eye and says, I'm not letting this fall in the Empire's hand, and Rampart's just like, I don't think you have a choice. Bang, and then yeah, it all goes to shit. I also feel like this cements Rampart's idiocy, because before he shoots her, he's saying, think how much this data's worth to the Emperor, and I'm just thinking,
what's your play after that? Like, you're going to give it to someone who's not going to immediately murder you for it?
Like, yeah, it's a ridiculous thought.
And also, if he doesn't destroy that console, then you can just copy the data.
Well, I think the implication was he was going to take the data and then destroy it, but
yeah.
It's one of those where it was such a stupid plan from the get-go, because it just, what makes you think they're going to buy this from you and not just hunt you down? Like, there was no winning for Rampart, even if he got the data.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, here's $1 billion credits, enjoy spending them while you're dead.
Yeah. And yeah, the final standoff.
Well, it takes a bit to get there, because we get Omega has to go through a tight gap, which is a bit of a theme for Omega. She sneaks around, slowly freeing the batch from their attempted conversion to more Clone X troopers. Echo is with the squad of volunteers fighting more of Clone Squad X, and Omega gets found, but not until after she's already loosened Wrecker's bounds, and it's the best Wrecker moment of the show, where he just goes Hulk smash.
Yeah.
Eventually they overcome Clone Force X. I guess they're called Clone Force X?
I guess so.
Fuck it, whatever. They overcome them, they get beaten. It's a very nicely choreographed and animated fight scene. I'm not going to take anything away from it. We then get Hunter and Crosshair noticing that Hemlock took Omega and fucking sprinting after him.
Yeah. And then they end up on the bridge, because Hemlock knows that Tantus is coming down. He's got Omega, he's got her handcuffed to him.
Yeah, and Hemlock has this great little moment where they're not going to risk shooting you to Omega, and Omega's like, yeah, but you literally can't kill me.
Yeah. And then she stabs him in the leg, and she holds up her bindings, and that's when Crosshair shoots the bindings
with his offhand.
And then Hemlock 15 times.
I believe he shoots the bindings, and it's Hunter that shoots Hemlock a bunch.
Yeah. And then Hemlock, he falls to presumably his death.
Oh, he's dead. Like, if Hemlock comes back, it's actually hack writing. It's like all those people who are like, we want Mace Windu to come back, and it's like, fuck off. Do more Mace Windu shit. Do Mace Windu shit before the Clone Wars. That's interesting.
Yeah, because he was I'm not saying he was the biggest maverick ever, because we've got Qui-Gon Jinn, but the fact that he was like so close to the dark side with his own personal lightsaber form means that he's a dangerous character to watch, which should be fun.
Except if you watch the thing, Rick, he's such a stickler for the rules. It's so annoying.
Oh yeah, as a character, he's a stickler for the rules, but like when it comes to fighting, he's like dangerously over the edge.
I'll take your word for that. We've only seen him fight twice. Once was when he got owned by Emperor Palpatine, and we had to sacrifice Kit Fisto to make fucking Samuel L. Jackson feel good, and when he killed Jango Fett.
Yeah, because he was the one that killed Jango, wasn't he? Like, you saw the head fall out.
Yeah. I'm not shitting on the writers here, but the fact that it was originally just going to be Mace Windu versus the Emperor, and the story goes, allegedly, Samuel L. Jackson was like, how are people going to know I'm a badass if I lose this one-on-one?
Yeah.
So it's just like, here's 3 Jedi, including Kit Fisto, who's a big fucking deal, and they're just going to get jobbed to Palpatine so Mace Windu can feel good. Just saying. But yeah, the batch is reunited. They end with a bit of a celebration on Pabu. Everyone's pretty happy. It's just a good ending. And then we get the epilogue.
Yeah, we get a really cool looking aged up version of Omega. And
oh, I shit you not, Rick. Until the shadows went away, I thought it was Fee.
Yeah, ditto. Like, I wasn't expecting it to be an aged up anything. I wasn't expecting it to be like a time skip.
Yeah.
But yeah, we see her. She's about to join the rebellion, and we see the grizzled old version of Hunter who looks cool.
Yeah, so it's been about 5 years, which is about 30 in Clone years.
Yeah.
Obviously, reminding us that Omega is like Boba, like he's completely unmodified clone, ages normally. Yeah, Hunter's grey. One of the most disappointing things I have to say about this scene is it's only Hunter.
Yes.
And we know Crosshair and Wrecker are still alive because he says they are.
Yeah.
So why the fuck aren't they there?
Yeah, totally. It's it's weird that it is just him, but like, I think that makes it better for Hunter, because if it weren't for this, I'd say this is Hunter's best moment in this season.
Okay.
Being there to like say goodbye to not just Omega, but to the viewers.
Yeah, I suppose. It's one of those, by the way, guys, as soon as A New Hope rolls around, the movie, as if I have to clarify, in theory, all clones are dead.
Essentially, yes. Because even the ones that you know of, like Rex and that lot, they're already incredibly old by the time of Kenobi.
I mean, here's the kicker, Rick, is we see Rex in Rebels.
Yeah.
And he's got a grey beard and he ain't looking too hot.
Yeah, he's not.
And he's old by clone standards.
Yeah, incredibly old.
There is absolutely, if any regular clone, I'm not counting Boba or Omega because they don't have the aged up bullshit in them, are around after Return of the Jedi, that is bad writing.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, just bear that in mind. When we're in the Rebellion era, that there should be no clones knocking around apart from Boba and Omega. Sorry, Omega. But yeah, I think it's an interesting thing they've done, putting Omega basically in the universe. However, it's just the Mandalorian again. It's like the story's over. This is a little flash of information to let you know that yes, this character's out in the wild. Yeah,
this character will return, maybe as a cameo in another show to make the other show more interesting to people that like seeing these connections.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm interested in seeing Omega do is have a conversation with Boba.
Yeah. That I think she'd be able to carry her own series as a character, maybe, but like, definitely from what we've seen of her, she can, and like, her individual episodes are still actually rather compelling.
I think she'd have to be a member of an ensemble cast. I don't think people would tune into a show just called Omega and Her Adventures in the Stars.
Yeah, like Omega Squad, I guess they'd call it or whatever. But yeah, it'd be she'd be like the mentor to a new group of like people, I assume.
Yeah, I don't know what they do, to be honest. Like, it's one of those where I just don't know what they'll do with her in the future. I don't think she should be involved in another series as an actual character. I think she should be reserved for cameos so that people who watch The Bad Batch can go, oh, that's Omega. Oh, and everyone's like, who the fuck's that? It's like, she's really cool. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. But yeah, do you have any objections to getting into our final three?
I don't think there's anything else to really add, so yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so, from the finale season, what was your favourite moment?
I mean, I won't call this a cop-out answer, but it's certainly the time I remember smiling the most. It's either the second to last or the actual last episode, where a bunch of explosions are being sounded, a bunch of sirens are going off, there's a bunch of people running maniacally, and it just cuts to the kids going, "What's going on?" And Omega with that shit-eating fucking smirk, just like, "My brothers are here," and it's like, yeah, shit's gonna go down, and Omega knows shit's gonna go down, and now's the time to escape.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's taken us 3 seasons, and I still remember in season 1 when Omega was introduced, and it took a few episodes of a bunch of the fan base going, "Why is there a kid involved in this?" And it's like, honestly, would this show have been anything without Omega?
By the time we get to the end of it, no. I think people warmed up to Omega when she took the headdress off.
I don't remember her wearing a headdress.
Yeah, she had this little, like a tiara on her head.
That was on her for 3 episodes, wasn't it?
Yeah. So once she took it off, she looked less goofy.
Okay. I don't think people were complaining because she looked goofy. I think people were
No. They were complaining because she was new.
No, they were complaining because and complaining because kid.
Yeah, that too, I guess.
But this was also fresh off Mandalorian, and it was just like, there was a few people who were like, "Nah, fuck it. Here's the new formula for Star Wars shows. Grizzled old badass protects small tiny child."
Yep.
But I digress. Rick, do you have a standout favourite moment?
It's a similar one to yours, and it's the... do you want to know a secret? I broke out of here before. Do you want to know another one? I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
that's just like the spark of hope for all these kids. And it's the setup to what you picked as your moment. Like, this one is the setup, and yours is the one where it knocks them down.
Yeah, sure.
Because it's it's not only that, but by the time it comes to yours, my brothers are here.
Here's the thing: is I'm not a massive fan of the line you just said. I'm more a fan of the thing that comes immediately after, which is her stealing the spanner.
Yeah.
Because it's not her saying it; it's her doing it and showing that, yeah, no, I will fuck shit up, guys.
Yeah.
I will cut someone, and she does.
But we can't always talk about our favourite bits. We sometimes have to talk about the not-so-favourite bits. Do you have a weakest link?
Epilogue. Yeah,
in that the other clones didn't show up, the other batch members didn't show up?
No, here's the thing: is I don't like the fact that that it was just so open. I guess I feel like it might have. I get why they did it. They wanted to have a farewell scene between Hunter and Omega. And Hunter's touch of "I'm not ready for you to go away" was pretty heart-wrenching. But I don't know, man. I wish it was a bit more concrete as to what Omega's going to do, other than, oh, she's just going to become a pilot in Rebellion. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, you could have just left it on the happy ending, and I don't know, man. They needed to have an epilogue to tie things up and say, yes, things are happening in the future involving specifically Omega. I think us,
and also that Pabu doesn't get reconquered.
Well, yeah, but Pabu was never conquered in the first place. They were only interested in Omega.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just, maybe I'm getting the wrong takeaway from it, but it's just like, Omega's gonna fuck off into space and have adventures. That's basically what they did with this little epilogue. And yeah, it was nice for Hunter to say goodbye. It was such a weird decision to have it be Hunter and only Hunter, you know? I don't know, man. Okay. I feel like they could have done a bit more with it, or they could have done less. It's one of those, like, they could have just had it be a flash forward and be like, here's Omega's aged up look, here's the clones, oh, they're fucking old and grey, you know? Whereas they had this weird midway house of like, no, Omega's going to go and do stuff, but we're not going to specify what, when, or why, because we need to make more shows.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. They could have done more or less, but the amount that they did was not correct.
That's just it, isn't it? It's such a hard thing to pin down, because any less I would have been happy. Any more specific, I would have been happy. Like, fuck, show Omega joining a battle.
Yeah, totally.
Or just show the clones in their aged up form and Omega clearly being an adult now and getting ready to go out in the wide universe. Just like, I don't know, I think they missed the mark a little bit.
Yeah, that last shot that she had of just putting Tech's goggles on the dashboard of the ship as she's ready to go, that was a really nice touch. But, like, yeah, she could have done the same thing with any other keepsake from any of the other clones.
Yeah, like fucking Wrecker's teddy bear.
Yeah.
Or Crosshair's hand.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I ruined it.
Yeah. Like, if there was a smaller keepsake that any of them had, like, or like Hunter's knife, I guess, but that's just any old knife, really.
But that's the exact thing I was thinking as well, Rick, is like, would you not think that each of the clones would have given her like a parting gift? Is it corny? Yes. Is it something they do? Fucking yes, it is.
Yeah, totally. Like, the teddy bear is not something that she would take into battle, but the knife definitely is.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, yeah. What about you? Do you have a weakest link?
My weakest link is that, like, I think I mentioned before, like, I think Hunter was weak in this season. Like, I think all he was there to do was to butt heads with Crosshair.
That lasted like one episode.
Yeah, and, like, he basically feels like he doesn't need to be there, and it's such a shame because, like, he's, like, apart from, like, a couple of times, like, he shows that he does the hunting stuff when they're on Tantis, doing a bit of survival, and that's pretty much it. And then, like, I think the only thing that really saves it for me is that he's the one that we get the emotional goodbye with at the end.
Rick, take Hunter out of the show. What happens?
They don't have a leader, and that's it. Like, that's not have a leader.
That's not it, though, is it? Because without Hunter is there with the driving force. Hunter is the reason why they're hunting Omega so efficiently and why he keeps pushing them. If it was left to Wrecker wouldn't push that hard. Not because he doesn't want to, but it's just not how he's wired.
Yeah, he would have given up.
I don't
not because he wants to, but because he realizes his limitations. He probably would have just joined Echo, though, I guess.
Yeah, it's just I don't think it holds water. I think, all right, Hunter got less screen time, but the batch in general got less screen time. This was very much Omega's season.
Yeah.
Like, you're allowed to have it as your weakest link. Don't get me wrong. I feel like you're missing the mark now.
Yeah, fair enough. But let's get on to our finale. Who's going to be your MVP?
It's a tough one. It's a real tough one. I'm going to give it to Crosshair.
Sure.
I've enjoyed Crosshair throughout all 3 seasons, even when he was definitely a heel. In this season in particular, he'd already had his face turned, but it just got cemented so very well. From him telling Omega to keep her focus on the mission and not bother saving him at the beginning, to at the very end, when even without a hand and saying it's my offhand, I don't think I can make this shot, and Hunter just being like, you're Crosshair, you can make the shot, just wait for Omega's signal, and then he fucking makes the shot.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I think he's a very good foil to a lot of the idealism that both Wrecker and Omega have, and it's something that, like, he had a lot in common with Tech in that they were both the realists when it came to tempering Wrecker.
Yeah, they're both Tech is very much nicer about it, but Tech and Crosshair both have the trait of, this is how we win this fight.
Yes.
You might not like it, but it's what we have to do. And we even have the fucking line near the finale where Crosshair is straight up suggesting that he's just going to do Plan 99 and go out like Tech did. And I think it's Hunter, it might have been Wrecker. Honestly, my mind's a bit fuzzy on the details, but one of them goes, we can't lose another member of Squad 99, because if we do, it's over. And Crosshair just goes, we haven't been Squad 99 since Tech went.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's just such a gut punch during an already high octane episode. But yeah, I think Crosshair definitely gets it. But I'm just going to slightly say it, like, Omega is a big part of the enjoyment during this season, so honorary mention to Omega, just in case you don't say her. So that said, Rick, who's your MVP?
Well, no need for an honorable mention. It is Omega from me. She was a big part of most of the episodes that I enjoyed more than the others. And she didn't only drive the episodes, but she was also the target of things that didn't involve her.
Like, I'm actually struggling to think, Rick. I think she was in every episode by a large margin, except for episode 2.
Yeah. Episode 2, I think, is the main one where she just wasn't in it, and that was kind of the point. You were following people who didn't know where she was. Like the viewers know.
Well, to be fair, Wrecker and Hunter knew where she was, they just didn't know how to get there.
Yeah, totally. But Omega gets it from me. What would the show be without her is what you said earlier, and, like, absolutely agree. And what better time to cement that than with the finale?
Like, for real. I know I shat on the epilogue a bit, but I am eager to see in what capacity they use her going forward. But honestly, I suspect she's going to get the Ventress treatment, and she'll show up in an unrelated season for 1 episode and then fuck off.
Yeah. But yes, I think that's about it for today. If you you like the video, you've got the comment section down below on YouTube, and if you're listening via one of the many audio platforms, you can instead send an email, which will go to
nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com.
And as always, if you made it this far, you're our favourite people. It's going to be a goodbye from me.
Goodbye, guys.